Hi guys, today we're going to work on lesson 8.6, factoring in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So we see our objective for the day is going to be able to factor trinomials that are in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is some number, and that is different from what we've seen before. So our first problem is going to be factoring when a times c is going to be positive, and our approach for this is going to be different a little than what we did with just regular factoring. So first, we're going to rewrite the 3x squared in this top left box, and we're going to write our positive 2 in the bottom right box. All right. Now, our directions there tell us to find the factors of a times c that are going to add up to b. So we take our a value, the number attached to the x squared, which is 3, and we multiply it by c, which is 2, and that gives us our 6. So we're looking for factors of 6 that are going to add up to 7. So we have our first pair of factors. We've got 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. So 1 plus 6 is 7, 2 plus 3 is 5. So we have our two factors, and now we got to figure out what we're going to do with them. So we write in a 1x in the top right box and a 6x in the bottom left box. So now we're going to take this chart and we're going to do the reverse of what we did when we were distributing. So what are my common factors between 3x squared and x? We can pull out an x.
That's it.
What are my common factors with 6x and 2? We have a positive 2. If we go up, what are my common factors between 3x squared and 6x? We have a 3x. And between 2 and 1x, we just have a 1. So our factored form is going to be 3x plus 1 and x plus 2. As always, we can FOIL to check our answers. So we have 3x squared plus 6x plus x plus 2. Combine our like terms, we have 3x squared plus 7x plus 2, and that is what we started with at the very beginning.
You might at this point want to stop and watch the process again.
Okay. We have more examples too, so we'll give you lots of advice here. So our next problem, we have 6x squared plus 13x plus 5. We fill in our 6x squared and our 5 into our table. Now our product is 6 times 5, which is 30. A times c, 6 times 5. So we're looking for factors of 30 that are going to add up to 13. So we've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. Well, 3 and 10 is our winner because 3 plus 10 is 13. So we write that in, 3x and 10x. So now we're going to do the same process. We're going to find what are our common factors in each row and each column. So in the first row we have 3x. In the second row we have a positive 5. In the first column we have a 2x. And in the second column we have a 1. So our binomials are 2x plus 1 times 3x plus 5. Alright, letter C, we've got 2b squared minus 17b plus 21. So we fill in our two pieces, 2b squared and 21. 2 times 21 is 42. So now we're looking for factors of 42 that are going to give us a sum of negative 16. And so like we
17.
17. So like we did in lesson 8.5, when we have a positive c and a negative b, we want to have two negative terms because they need to multiply to become positive. So we have negative 1 and negative 42, negative 2, negative 21, -3, -14, -6, -7. So now we do our sums. We've got -43, -23, -17. Hey, there's our winner. All right, so we put a -3x in our first box and a -14x in our second box. Now you might be asking, does it matter which box we put it into? And the answer is no. All right, so we have 2b squared and -3b. So our common factor in that is just a b. In our second one, we have a -14b and a 21, so we can take that negative sign out too and say it's -7. First column, we have 2b. And in our second column, we have that negative sign again and a -3. So when we go ahead and write our brackets, we have 2b minus 3 times the quantity b minus 7. We can FOIL this. We'll get 2b squared minus 14b minus 3b and plus 21. When we combine those like terms, we'll find that 2b squared minus 17b plus 21 is what we started with in the first place. All right, problem number 2, we're going to be factoring when a times c is going to be a negative number. So now our product is going to be negative. So that means one of our two factors is going to be negative as well. So we have a 2x squared in the top left box. We have a -3 in the bottom right box. So our factors of -6, we've got a -6 and 1, a -3 and 2. When we do our sums, we got to also put in our other factors. So we have -5, -1, which is our winner. We've got a +5 and a -1. I think you meant to do a -2 and +3, which would give us a +1. All right, so our winner was 2 and -3. So we have a +2x in the top right, -3x in the bottom, and don't forget we had a -3 as our c. All right, so first row, we've got a 2x as a common factor. Second row, we have -3 as a common factor. First column is just an x, and the second column is a 1. So our two binomials, we have an x plus 1 and 2x minus 3. As always, you guys can FOIL it, double check your answer, and make sure you are correct. All right, letter B, we plug in the information we know already. We have 5x squared, and we have a -18. And now, -18 times 5 is -90, and those are the factors we're going to be looking for. So we've got a 1 and -90. We've got a 3 and -30. We've got a 9 and -10. So we can check those and see which ones work. And then we know it's going to be that last one that has a sum of -1. So we're going to put in a +9x minus 10x. And now we can look for our common factors. So in the first row, our only common factor is an x. The second row, our common factor is a -2. Because both terms are negative. First column, we have a +5x, and we have a +9. All right, so our binomials, we've got 5x plus 9 times the quantity x minus 2. All right, letter C, we've got 10y squared in our top box, negative 14 in our bottom right box, and our goal is for negative 140 as our product, and our sum is 31, so we've got some pretty big numbers here. We can try negative 10 and 14. We could try negative 7 and 20. How about negative 2 and 70? And negative 4 and 35? I think those are some good choices. So when we add those up, we've got 4, we've got 13, we've got 68, and there's the magic number of 31, what we're looking for. So we have minus 4y and a positive 35y. So now we can find our common factors. First row, we have a common factor of 2y. Second row, we have a common factor of 7. Our first column, our common factor is 5y. And our second column is a negative 2. So our parentheses, we've got 5y, or 2y plus 7, and 5y minus 2. If you wrote it the other way, it's okay. For problem number 3, we're going to work on applying trinomial factoring. So we have the area of a rectangle is 8x squared plus 22x plus 15. We want to know what our possible dimensions are, so we're going to factor. So we plug in what we know, 8x squared and a positive 15. And 8 times 15 is 20, or 120, and that's what we're going to try to find the factors of. So we could go with 6 and 20. We can try 10 and 12. So let's see which ones of those work. 6 plus 20 is 26. Not so good. But 22 is a much better answer. So we plug in what we figured out, 10x and 12x. First row, we have a common factor of 2x. Second row's common factor is 3. First column, 4x. And second column, 5. So we have 4x plus 5 times 2x plus 3. Same basic problem. The area of the rectangle is 4x squared minus 7x minus 15. We already know that the width of the rectangle is x minus 3. So we've got 4x squared and we've got negative 15. So we know that one of those factors, we know we've got it, we can work with. So we've got a 3. What times 3 gives us negative 60? Well, negative 3, we could go with a positive 20. That gives us a sum of 17, though, so that doesn't work. We could go 6 and negative 10. That sum is negative 4. How about 4 and negative 15? Well, that gives us negative 5. Oh, I got it. 5 and negative 12. And that gives us a sum of negative 7. So we plug that into our boxes. We've got 5x and negative 12x. Pulling out our common factors, we've got a 4x and we've got a 5. And up top, we've got an x and a negative 3. So we've got 4x plus 5 and x minus 3. Okay. Our last problem for today, we're going to factor out a monomial. We're going to take one term out already so we can simplify them. And when I look at that problem, I see that each one of those can be divided by 4. So we're going to factor out a 4. So we're going to be left with 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. And now that's a much easier problem to try to factor, right?
Do we have to go further and factor it?
We don't have to. All right, letter B, we've got 30x squared plus 14x minus 8. So we can factor out from that, well, let's see, those are all even numbers, so we can factor out a 2. So we've got 15x squared plus 7x minus 4. All right. Next up, we've got 4x to the third plus 44x squared plus 36x. Well, I see that I can take out an x term in each one of those. So we can do that. And we can take out a 4 as well. So the first term, we divide that by 4x. We're left with x squared plus 11x plus 9. And the last problem, 3y squared minus 5y squared plus 2y. We can factor out a y from this. So we've got 3y squared minus 5y plus 2. And that is it for chapter lesson 8.6, and we will see you in class tomorrow.